Two forwards, $8 million. A championship front court fractured 3 days before tip-off. Aliyah Boston signed the largest contract in WNBA history 3 weeks ago. Monique Billings was supposed to anchor next to her. One came back from a leg injury, the other walked off her birthday with a tweaked ankle and missed Monday's practice. Caitlin Clark plays Saturday's opener next to a front court Herb Simon's front office never finished building. And here's the number that puts everything in perspective. $7.9 million in forward salary on the books. 0 of those forwards taking full reps Monday morning at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Stephanie White stood on that practice floor watching what was supposed to be her championship build, and the build had holes in it. Aliyah Boston was easing back in. Monique Billings wasn't there at all. Justine Pissott was off to one side shooting alone. Lexie Hull was running pre-practice drills with the hamstring. Caitlin Clark was getting work in with player development coach Rob Dossier, the engine. Healthy, ready, with no front court anchor showing up around her. 3 days from opening night against the Dallas Wings. That's the picture. And here's the part that should make every Fever fan nervous. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable for Herb Simon's front office. On April 17th, the Indiana Fever signed Aliyah Boston to a 4-year, $6.3 million extension. The largest total contract in WNBA history. Big number, big headline, big commitment to the future. And buried inside that deal was something almost nobody outside cap circles flagged. Boston's 2026 salary was structured $190,000 below the maximum, on purpose, to give the front office cap flexibility. Translation: the room existed to add a second front court veteran. The room was right there. 6 days earlier, the same front office had given Kelsey Mitchell the first supermax in WNBA history, $1.4 million, 20% of the cap, to a single guard. Caitlin Clark put this team on the map. But championship windows don't open with smiles. They open with a healthy front court. But here's where it gets dangerous. Monique Billings was the move that was supposed to fix it. 6'4", 30 years old, drafted in 2018, signed on April 11th to a 2-year, $1.6 million deal. 4 WNBA teams in 8 years. Came over from the Golden State Valkyries, where she spent the entire 2025 season learning how to play next to a star guard. That's exactly the role the Fever needed her to play next to Caitlin Clark. Knockdown three-point shooter from the corners, energy on the glass, transition runner. She started every preseason game. And then May 2nd happened, her 30th birthday. A rebound under the basket against Nigeria. She landed on an opponent's foot with 7 minutes and 50 seconds left in the second quarter, walked straight to the locker room and didn't come back. 6 minutes played, 7 points on 3 of 3 shooting, 1 for 1 from 3, then nothing. Then Monday's practice without her on the floor. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night about this roster. Billings is one piece. The bigger picture is what Stephanie White is staring at when she takes inventory. Lexie Hull missed Saturday's preseason game with a hamstring ailment. Said she's hopeful for the opener, but hopeful is doing a lot of work in that sentence. Justine Pissott has a lingering leg injury and was already ruled out for Thursday's preseason game against the Wings. Aliyah Boston is back, but back from what was, by all accounts, a serious leg injury that ended her unrivaled playoffs run. White's quote on Monday: "They're going to keep evaluating day by day and give her an opportunity to make sure she's as close to 100% as possible." That's the language of a coach who doesn't have answers yet. The opener doesn't wait for answers. But here's the tension. The Indiana Fever already played the Dallas Wings once this preseason. April 30th, Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Final score: Dallas 95, Indiana 80. Paige Bueckers dropped 20 points in 20 minutes, 8 of 12 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3. The reigning Rookie of the Year, the new face of Curt Miller's franchise, the guard who will be in the same building Saturday afternoon. All 20 of those points came in the first half. Bueckers shot 5 for 5 from the field in the second quarter alone, and head coach Jose Fernandez sat her for the entire fourth. The Wings didn't need her. Maddie Siegrist posted 18 and 11. Dallas shot 72% from the floor in that second quarter and outscored Indiana 36-17 in 12 minutes of basketball. And here's the part that should sting. Dallas out-rebounded the Fever 45-26, a 19-rebound margin, in a single preseason game, and Aliyah Boston wasn't on the floor for significant minutes. The front court that got out-physicaled by 19 rebounds was a front court without its anchor. Now Boston is back, but Monique Billings is the one on the training table. Different version of the same problem. Now, there's one piece of this puzzle that works in Indiana's favor. And it's easy to miss. Aliyah Boston is the most physical post defender on the Fever roster. When she's healthy and on the floor, the rebounding numbers don't look like that. So if she's at full strength Saturday, the gap closes. That's the piece that works. Here's the piece that doesn't. Curt Miller didn't build the Wings' front court around one player. He built it around depth. Maddie Siegrist posted 18 and 11. Lee Ueru added 8 points and 8 rebounds in limited minutes. That's 26 points and 19 rebounds from 2 forwards on a night when Fernandez held his starters under 20 minutes each, by design, with the regular season opener in mind. Indiana's front court rotation Saturday is Aliyah Boston, a 30-year-old free agent signing who's currently day-to-day, and a rookie. Boston alone, even fully healthy, can't match a too-deep rotation that already proved itself once at Gainbridge with the starters resting. And the thing about chemistry, you don't realize what it's worth until it's gone. The 2026 free agent class had veteran front courts available, players who'd done it for years, who could have come in on a one-year deal as insurance. The front office didn't sign them. What they did was prioritize backcourt continuity. Mitchell on the first WNBA supermax at $1.4 million, Cunningham back at $665,000, Hull re-upped, Tyasha Harris in the door, rookie Raven Johnson drafted 10th overall. Added up, and the guard rotation is loaded. Then the front court, Boston extended, Billings on the 2-year, Hines-Allen brought in on the cheap rookie Justine Pissott as depth. That's the build. Remaining cap against multiple off-season extensions is what it is. Forget the math for a second. The choice was the choice. Amber Cox said it on the record at Media Day. Decisions impacting what they need to do against a hard cap in the future. The man who controls the checkbook decided 3 guards were worth more than a second frontcourt veteran. And then Billings stepped on a foot. Aliyah Boston came to Indiana in 2023 as the #1 overall pick. Before this franchise had Caitlin Clark, before any of the cultural traction the team has now. Longtime Fever fans know the architecture problem. Tamika Catchings spent half her career fighting through front courts that asked too much of her, building a fence out of nothing, anchoring a defense without help, carrying weight that wasn't fair to a single player. Catchings won her ring in 2012 under Lynn Dunn, with a roster the front office finally built around her. It took a decade, 20 years and 3 franchise pillars later, the same architecture problem. Each version of the Fever builds around an offensive star, the front office underspends on the front court around her, and then the season opens with someone limping off a practice floor. Names change, pattern doesn't. Boston is the one being asked to carry it now, and she's the one who just came back from her own injury. 3 days, 2 forwards on training tables, $7.9 million on the books. Stephanie White's "We're going to keep evaluating day by day" can buy time on a Tuesday. It can't buy time on a Saturday. Caitlin Clark is healthy. The backcourt is healthy. The thing that's supposed to anchor a championship run isn't. And on Saturday, the Indiana Fever have to start a championship season with whatever front court walks out of that locker room.